All right, let's start off by saying Barakateh Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruchakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is E is cutting off the ring. And pretty much that's just boxing term, for when you're fighting somebody that's on the move all the time. You kind of cut the ring off to kind of not give them enough space, to be able to maneuver so that you can hit them. And pretty much this is an article that I ran across. I've been searching for something to go into. I kind of ran into this article, and I want to read a little bit of it. This is I put this in the description box for those that are interested, to read some of it. This is just this thing called COP28, where pretty much you have these nations, like they always do, setting policies for the future. And they're looking into ways of cutting everything down, and making resources and everything less available to the masses of the people, because they want everyone to fit into this new agenda that they're pushing on the planet. And in order to partake in this new way, you have to, be a part of this whole infrastructure that they're putting together. And they're pushing everybody pretty much in a corner so that they can't move about without, being a partaker of this new system that they're putting in place. And they're pretty much backing everybody, into a corner. So this is called, as COP28 comes to an end, what does 2024 hold for globalist gatherings? And the brother, One Igbad, I believe the brother's name is. Salaki brother, if I got your name wrong. Then a brother out of South Carolina. He did a video, which I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I just watched part of it. And I found it very interesting that all these years that we've been watching the movie The Road, we never really seen it, but he actually accentuated. There was one part in the movie where I'm not sure if that was inside of the house where Denzel Washington found the boots. The guy was hanging and he found the boots. He stayed the night there. I'm not sure if it was in that house, but there was an actual poster in the background. And it had the year 2024 in it twice, once on the top somewhere and once in the middle somewhere. And what it showed was a bunch of chaos going on in 2024. And remember, the Spirit's been having Elder Apostle Tahar and other brothers out there saying that 2024 is going to be a rough year, because they're really pushing hard, for this agenda. And the agenda pretty much is to CULL, you could spell that out, the population of the world. All right? Because there are too many people for them to be able to sustain. That's what you keep hearing about SDG. SD as in dollar, and then G. SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. And pretty much what that is to figure out a way to reduce the pop of the world in order to be able to be sustained. I believe they call it the Malthusian theory, where he was saying that the population is eventually going to grow more exponential or a lot faster than the resources that they have available. This is why you have all of these processed foods and stuff going on, so that people can eat that crap, become sick, eventually die, and those that remain will be a part of this new system, right? And that goes into the whole MOTB system in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, and other parts. So it says, as COP28 comes to an end, what does 2024 hold for globalist gatherings? The COP28 meeting ended with an agreement to begin the end of the fossil fuel era. What's next on the agenda for the predator class in 2024? Because at the end of the day, what they want is they want a system in place that could just operate off of, electrical, green, everything. Everything that they have is, based on them. You can't be sustained by yourself. You have to come to them, and they control everything. And as you see right now, even with this 5 to the G that everybody has on their phone, pretty much, you're having problems now. They say you go into this new system, everything will run a lot faster, a lot smoother. You won't have problems. But now it seems like there's more and more problems. You pay for services, and your services, and you're trying to watch a video, or you might be trying to watch a movie or a documentary, and the thing is buffering for something that you paid for. Things are crashing, things are messing up, because this is what they want. So if you don't comply with the rules and regulations, they can send a signal, either shut your CHIP off, or they can, pretty much cut you out of the system by removing, your access to their new world. Okay? It says, the United Nations COP28 meeting of world leaders concluded last week in Dubai with an agreement which is being heralded as the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel era. Yeah, because everything now is digital. You no longer need coal and different other natural resources to keep things going, because everything now is digital, right? It says the agreement was reached by nearly 200 nations who signaled support for ending dependence on fossil fuel products, as well as committing to a just and equitable transition, which will see deep emissions cuts. And also that's not just deep emissions cut, but also cutting out a lot of people too. It says the agreement also calls on government to accelerate this transition by tripling renewable energy capacity by 2030, speeding up efforts to end coal use, and accelerating technologies like carbon capture and storage. Now, let's go real quick to the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm sorry, not Ecclesiastes. Daniel. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. Because this is prophecy in the making. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. And at one time the Bible was sealed. And it wasn't until the Spirit got on the elder Abba Bivens. He was called Rabbi Abba Bivens. We call him elder, or elder Abba Bivens, to break the mysteries through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, that this book began to be unsealed and the mysteries revealed. It says even to the time of the end, because how do we know that we're at the time of the end? Mysteries are going to be revealed. None of these scholars have been able to decipher the book of Revelation. Some of them may have hit certain points, but it wasn't until the One West men, prophets that were in One West, former One West, to this very day, that were able to crack the codes of the New Testament book of Revelation. You see, no one else can break that down. They've tried. They've botched things up. We've even heard some that say, well, there's going to be actual giant locusts flying in the air, and all kind of madness. Nobody was able to pinpoint the mysteries of the book of Revelation, who Babylon the Great was, so on and so forth, and many other, mysteries in that book, but One West. Now you did have, other quote-unquote Edomite scholars and religious men that have, come to the conclusion that America has to be Babylon the Great. But as far as all the intricacies and all the different mysteries in the book of Revelation, they were not able to break it down. That didn't happen until the Lord put the Spirit on a man that Elder Abba Bivens taught, which is High Priest Ariel. All right, he was the one that was able to decipher these things in the book of Revelation. Why? Because we're at the time of the end, and knowledge is being increased, as it says here. It says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So they're running the time of the end. You would know that the time of the end is here because of the mysteries that are being revealed every day You know, and especially, you know, the ones going back, pretty much the ones going back to the time of, you know, when the school at One West was being established. All right, let's go real quick to 2nd Ezra 6 and 28. Because for a long time, these mysteries were hidden. Now we're at the point now that we're at the tipping point of prophecy, if you will. 2nd Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. Why? Because at one time corruption was flourishing. The truth was hidden. You know, lies were flourishing. You know, the world wandered after the beast. Right? It says, and the truth, which had been so long without fruit. Why? Because it was dormant unto the time of the end. But in the time of the end, it would speak. It says, shall be declared. And who shall it be declared by? Well, it's going to be declared by the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which are Israelites, which are prophets. Let's go from there to the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. And that's why this knowledge, this truth is the biggest threat to Esau. And that's why you have you have your vocab Malones and others coming against it, because it's a big threat. You know, and it's a big threat to their authority, because they've been established as being the so-called authority of the Bible for so long. This thing threatens their authority in the Bible, and people are seeing that what they're saying is not matching up with what the scriptures are really saying, because the Lord is pulling that veil off of the eyes of the Israelites out here that are part of the elect, and they're seeing right through it. And even some Israelites that are not a part of the elect, that the Lord peels the veil away from, they're starting to see it, but then they go back to being blind, because Esau works as witchcraft and gets them right back in line. Right? Like Kanye now, that devil, he's, you know, over there apologizing to the small hats, you know? And that was all done. It wasn't done because he had such an epiphany that he wanted to, you know, to expose them. No, that was done because he's the agent, he's a plant. And now he's finished his job, and now he can go back to being in their so-called good graces. Which he was always in their good graces, at least at the top. So Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So as we see this plan unfolding, we know exactly what's happening. So they have a plan by 2030. But 2024, they're going to push things even harder. Okay, it says speeding up efforts to end coal use and accelerating technologies like carbon capture and storage. All right, which if they follow, you know, land Sabbaths, if they follow the ecosystem that Yahweh Bashim Shai set up in place, carbon gets captured by trees. Trees take in carbon because that's a part of their mechanism of life. They in turn take the carbon in and give off oxygen. Just like you have, you know, unclean fish and unclean, you know, sea creatures that take the waste of the oceans and the waters and ingest them to clean everything, and everything works in a synergy properly. But with this devil, he destroys everything because he is a madman. It says the 2030 date is relevant because in 2015, the United Nations General Assembly agreed on the 2030 Agenda, or Agenda 2030, which also includes the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Here go your SDGs. The UN SDGs are promoted as a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all, ostensibly aimed at fighting climate change. The COP28 meeting, also known as a Conference of the Parties, was the 28th edition of the UN Climate Change Conference held in Expo City, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, from November 30th to December 12th. The COP, right, which they just finished that. The COP conference has been held annually since the first UN climate change in 1992 in Rio, Brazil. So this is about the 31st year. 2024 in December would be the 32nd year. So they are 31 years deep. Now, what this brought to mind, you know, all this sustainable development goals and everything that they're doing, cutting out all these fossil fuels and everything, it led me to, you know, build, you know, as we read up here, to accelerate technologies was the 15-minute cities. And in the 15-minute cities is where everything will be within 15 minutes of walk, bike ride, or transportation. Public transportation, okay? Not your vehicle, because they don't want people to be sustained on their own. They don't want people to have the freedom to come and go. But yet, this is the land of the free, home of the brave, right? They don't want people to have the freedom to go to and from without the government. All right, you watch the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake, right? And by the way, he's a Jake, for those of you that didn't know. No, but he looks like a white man. Yeah, but he's a Jake. All right. And in that movie, if you didn't have, like, in that movie, money was time. And time was money. The more time you had, the more access you had to the different places. You had different zones. And each zone would you know, if you wanted to cross from one zone to the next, you had to have time on your watch. Because if your time ran out to zero, you died. So you had to work to build time. And this is pretty much what these devils are doing with this UBI system, Universal Basic Income. You know, in order for you to be sustained, you got to follow the instructions. So in that one, the more time you had, the more prestigious or the more elite you were. All right. So that's what they're doing, and then you had access to other regions that the average person didn't have. So in these 15-minute cities, you are only going to be able to maneuver around if, you know, you have the access to it. Because if you don't and you live there, guess what? They'll cut everything off so where you can't, you know, you can't go anywhere. You can't, you know, get one of those bikes that you would have to use your C-hip for. You won't be able to take public transportation because they're gonna, you know, you're gonna be banned because you have to get, you know, scanned, and they're gonna say, well, this guy is rejected, or he's on a probationary period, or whatever the case may be. just like the social credit system of China, which is the blueprint for the world, the global world that they have bringing in. So it says the 15-minute city project is an information resource designed to help access focused urban transformations, be ambitious, inclusive, measurable, and, you know, it goes on to say something else. But it says here, what is meant by a 15-minute city? The 15-minute city is an approach to urban design that aims to improve quality of life by creating cities where everything a resident needs can be reached within 15 minutes by foot, bike, or public transit. You see, no vehicles, no vehicles. It says, what is a 15-minute city? It says, where are 15-minute cities in the U.S.? Let's see. Before I read this one, let me jump down to this one. What are the effects of 15-minute city? By reducing the need for cars and consolidating resources into more compact urban spaces. Compact. Keep that in mind. More compact urban spaces. Compact means, you know, something that's condensed. You know, that you cut. In other words, you have access to have homes and have land, but in this, everything is restricted. Is more concentrated. Right? 15-minute cities have lower carbon emissions, encourage healthy physical activity, and promote social engagement between members of the community. All right, they say, so on and so forth. Right? Where are 15-minute cities in the U.S.? In the United States, cities including Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Cleveland are embracing the concept, while Portland's complete neighborhoods and Eugene's 20-minute living are putting their own spin on the idea in Oregon. But the 15-minute city, as it is often understood, has inspired fierce pushback. You know, because you will have those that rise up against it, but guess what? Those are the ones that's going to be moved out the way. They're going to be, you know, eventually called. All right. Now, this brought to mind Isaiah 5 and 8. Woe to them that join house to house, because that's what they're doing. They're joining house to house, make everything more compact. You know, it says that that lay field to field till there be no place, and that's what they're doing. They pretty much restricting everybody, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth, right? Because they don't want everyone to enjoy the pleasures that like they can. They be able to come and go as they please, to be able to eat filet mignon and drink Don Perignon. No, they don't want people to, you know, to enjoy those things. They only want to enjoy it. If they want to jet set, they can jet set. If they want to go to the different parties that they're going to have around the world, they can go uninhibited. But for the masses of the people that they consider their slaves, they want them restricted, relegated, you know, oppressed, constantly working, you know, in a state of bliss. That's why like movies like Equilibrium, they show you where people have to be dosed with a certain dosage of medicine at like 3 times a day. You should be reading your Bible 3 times a day. Inside joke. They're dosed with that medicine 3 times a day to keep them docile, to keep them subservient, you know, to keep them, you know, being in subjection to the so-called elite. All right. Now, that also goes into Micah, the 2nd chapter, the 1st verse. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And that's what they're doing. They're working evil upon their beds because they're making the people, they're making them like comfortable but uncomfortable. You know, let me just, this word came to mind. Let me just put it in here. Hopefully I spelled it wrong. Okay, cool. So let's go back. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. What does it mean that they practice it? They put it into use. Because it is in the power of their hand, right? Because they have the power and the access. Why? Let's go real quick to Job. Nice, easy, basic building block, fundamental scriptures. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So they have the power of the earth, but they're not using the power of the earth right. You know, and that's why as we're going to get, you know, all of the working class are going to eventually turn against these devils. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, and not wearing, who is he? And you know, that goes into something else, but he has the power over the earth, and he has covered up the true judges, beginning with the Most High, Yahweh Shai, the angels, and the Israelites, which they say they're so-called white people, but they're not. They're people of color. I'm just trying to find the main point. Boom, beautiful. Job 20:17, he shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore. Right, in other words, that which he robbed. Let me see what the word labored. That's what he labored for. Your guy. Your guy is earnings, gain, product of labor. Right, and what was their labor? The thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. All right. Okay. It says, because he hath oppressed and hath, according that which he had labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. In other words, he's not going to get to enjoy it. He's not going to digest, the benefits of the New World Order. According to his substance shall the restitution be. Right, and what is his substance? The whole entire earth. So if the whole entire earth is substance, that's what the restitution is going to be. That's the true reparations. And then once they give everything back, them going into captivity. That's true reparations. True reparations ain't giving all the families that suffered under the hand of this devil a bunch of FRNs, a bunch of paper dollars. Whether it's $1 million, $10 million, $25 million, $100 million a family, whatever the price is, that ain't shit. Because that money can be devalued overnight. They can cut out checks and then the next day everything, all the money is worthless. You know, true reparations is you getting back everything that they gave, that they took from you, and then putting them into the same hardcore situation and oppressive state that we were forced to suffer. Those are true reparations, and that's what we're reading in the Bible, that the reparations are going to be. Not no goddamn check for no goddamn paper money that's being devalued by the day that no nation wants anymore. It says, according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he has oppressed and hath forsaken the poor. And that's the thing, oppression and forsaken. Because what they do is they don't make money off of, you know, the capital that they've invested and putting money back into their businesses. What they do is they take the little bit of resources that the poor have. Salakia, in order for them to get more gain. That's why it says the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? Because the rich are constantly oppressing the poor, forsaking them and taking all of their resources. It says, because he had violently taken away an house which he builded not, right? Because how did he get access to the world? Besides the Most High giving them that access, they put the world in debt through a monetary system that is worthless. But they tricked the world into doing this, so therefore they took everybody's money and they took over the resources of the planet, which they didn't really labor for or they didn't really build. You following along? Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. Why? Because as it says in the book of, matter of fact, let's get there real quick before we continue on. I'm finished with this. Let's go to Habakkuk. And that's why these scriptures are very important. Because they lay it out in spades if you can see the mysteries. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. It is not in this man's ability or DNA to do the right thing. He will never do the right thing. He was created to be the wicked. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. What does that mean? It's very simple. No matter how much this devil reads, no matter how much you tell him or show him, he is not going to do the right thing. They're serpents, and we are the charmers. And we, even though we charm never so wisely, they're still not going to get it. That's why the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, when the rich man died, he said, look, if somebody comes back to life and goes back to my brothers and let them know what's going on so that they don't come to this place of torment, meaning slavery in the kingdom, right? Then they'll turn around. They won't do it. They won't do it. They won't keep doing this wickedness, right? And I'm just merely paraphrasing. And what did the Lord say to him? He said, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. Because they're not going to listen. Because they were created to be the wicked. And they were created for the purpose of being wicked, doing wicked things to eventually be destroyed. All right? The wicked are made for the day of wrath. And Esau are the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. They were tailor-made for destruction. All right? It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine. This is going into his philosophies, his democracy, so on and so forth, his religious ways. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right, so they don't stay home. They're always on the go, always in everybody's business. Every time you turn around and there's a so-called problem in a country, guess what? America's there to, to stick their nose in it. But yet you got all kind of problems, home here in America, homeless and all kind of stuff going on. But this place is falling apart. But yet your ass is in everybody else's business when you can't even keep your own house in order. Who enlarges his desire as hell, meaning they enlarge their desire as the grave. Now, there's a scripture in the book of Proverbs where it says that hell, which is the grave, is never full. Because people die every day. That's why, Shalaki for that. That's why, to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Owning a funeral is always going to be lucrative because those funeral people always die. Owning a place where they make coffins and they make the stones to put the memorial, the names of the people on it, they never go out of business. When the last time you've heard all different type of businesses going out of business, restaurants, retail stores, mechanics, banks, all of that. But you never heard once in the news a mortuary or any place that caters to the dead, going out of business. They ain't gonna go out of business. You know why? Because people are always dying. So this devil, when he enlarges his desire, he enlarges it as hell or as the grave, and is as death, right? Because death is, certain until the Lord comes and changes us. It says, and cannot be satisfied. So no matter how much this devil has, which he has everything, he still can't be satisfied. By now, the Rothschilds have to be well into the 500 trillion mark or more, because they have everything, but they want more. And who are they taking it from? From the poor. They want more, so they're taking it from the poor. But gathereth unto him all nations. This is your new world order. And heapeth unto him all people. There you go. Your novus ordo seclorum. Which is a new order of the ages, which is predicated upon, and there go that word predicated again, it's predicated upon the economy. Every time there's a shift in who controls the money, what nation controls the money, or what nation's money is the world reserve currency, that begins the age, or that begins a new age, or a new order of the world. Shall not all these take up a parable against him? Right. So they're going to take up a parable against him. Let's look up this word parable, see what it says. The word there is mashal, yep, same word. It says proverb, parable. Right. A proverb or a parable would be like, Yankee, get out of my land. Or go home. Yankee, go home, get out of my land. Or DEATH to America, which a lot of these different nations are saying. Why? Because you are in their land, taking their resources. And some of the people are hip to you. The majority of the world is blinded by you, but some of these people in the nations, in these other nations, they know. They know, they could see that every time you get involved with a country, you're not for their benefit. You hurt them more than you help them. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? Right, and they're saying that now. It says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which is heavy debt. And that's what they do. They put heavy debt upon the world. So it says here in Job 20:20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. His belly represents his mind. Because everybody's going to be talking against what he's doing. That's why in this article, we read that there's going to be backlashes. There's going to be backlashes. It was somewhere around, where was that? I forget exactly where it was. But there was one point where it spoke about where these people are not going to go for it. I don't think I went down this far. But when you get a chance, you can look it up. There was something in here where it was getting backlash. Oh, no, you know what it was? It was this here. right here. Where are 15-minute cities in the U.S. and the United States? Cities including Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Cleveland are embracing the concept, while Portland's complete neighborhoods and Eugene's 20-minute living are putting their own spin on the idea in Oregon. But the 15-minute city, as it is often understood, has inspired fierce pushback. You know, because you're going to have those that's going to push back, as we're reading here in Job. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. Right? Because let's go to, there's many of them, but let's go to one that comes to mind is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 10 and verse, matter of fact, another one just came to mind. Let me see if I can get that real quick. What is that? Hopefully I can find it. But let me go back to this one. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, Esau's done that. Injuries, Esau has done that. And riches got by what? By deceit, not by right. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Yeah. So you had your moment, you had your time, you had your, spot in the sun, so to speak. Now it's time for you to go down. Now let's go from there to, let's see, Proverbs 28 and 8. He that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. Right? Because everything that you see happening around the world is being gathered for who? For us, the Israelites, and the kingdom to come. What is that? Scripture just came to mind. Yes. Isaiah chapter 60. And just bear with me while I find the verse. And if I can't find it like this, I'll just type in right here. Isaiah 60 verse 16. Matter of fact, I started at 15. It says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. And this doesn't fit the other nations. This fits us, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We have been despised. We have been hated. We have been forsaken. We haven't been counted in. We're always on the outskirts. We're always the ones that's being, called niggas, spooks, spics, wetbacks. And like there was a documentary with the what's that guy named, the so-called the unknown archaeologist or whatever the hell his name was. And he did a series, or he did a documentary on the Israelite, the 12 tribes of Israel, the lost 12 tribes of Israel. And he didn't mention not one Israelite. He mentioned, Amalek, or, them gutter rats. He mentioned, he went to some distant far off land in Moab. These different nations all had Israelites in them, but which there are Israelites among those nations. But he was saying those people are Israelites, but not once did he mention any Israelites here in America or abroad. No so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, no, anybody else but us, because we wouldn't be recognized among the nations. It says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. It says, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles. What is the milk of the Gentiles? Their resources, their substances. Did not the Lord tell Moses that he will give us a land of milk and honey? It's not talking about an actual land. Hurry up and buy. That's right. It's not an actual land where you walk in and you see milk and honey. No, it's vegetation. It's the resources of the cattle. That's your milk. Then you have your fruitful lands. There goes your honey. your milk and honey. You know, the cattle, the land, and that's everything with substance. And guess what? When the kingdom of heaven is established, it's gonna be furnished. It's like moving into a furnished apartment or a furnished, house. Everything is going to be provided. And as we read in here, let's finish reading this. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, meaning all of their riches. As we read here in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, the 8th verse, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one person to another. All of those riches are going to be transferred, translated, given to us. It says, and thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer. This is back in Isaiah 60 and 16. The mighty one of Jacob. For brass, for the amount of brass that you can find today, which is plenty, I will bring gold. So we're going to have gold in abundance. So the kingdom is going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? The kingdom is going to be furnished with everything, with riches, everything. And for iron, the amount of iron that you can get today, I will bring silver. And for wood, you could get plenty of brass, you can get plenty of iron, you can get plenty of wood, right? But for wood, brass, and for stones, iron, you can get plenty of stones. So for the amount of all of this that you can get, we're gonna get gold, silver, brass, iron, and that means that we're going to have everything. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be furnished. It ain't going to be an empty kingdom. We're not going to just inherit the kingdom. Yahweh Shai got the kingdom. He got the riches. He got everything. And we're going to be joint heirs with him. He's going to give us all of that. So we're going to be furnished with everything. You know, why do you think it says, and let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Because when we wake up in the morning, we're not going to have a want for nothing. We're going to be happy. We're going to be elated. We're going to be ecstatic. We're going to be ecstatic, man. We're going to be ecstatic from all of the, substance and everything that we're going to have. And on top of, and above all of that, we're going to be righteous. No evil, wicked thoughts. We're not going to be sick. Not going to be waking up every goddamn day wondering if you're going to drop dead. Feeling sick every goddamn day. That shit is fucking vexing, man. Feeling like shit every goddamn day. You know? I will also make thy officers peace. Right? Because we ain't going to have, any individuals that's officiating business among us that's going to be wicked. The officers are going to be peace, and thine exact is righteousness. Right? Because, we're going to still do transactions among ourselves, but it's going to be in righteousness. We're going to get a substance, and we're going to give the proper, money for it. You see? So we're going to have trade among ourselves. And it's not going to be in wickedness. It's not going to be held upon usury or interest. It's going to be beautiful. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land. Yeah, you ain't going to hear about drive-by shootings. Ninja here, it is. You got two opposing gangs. One gang kills another gang member from another gang. Then they go and they bury that. Here goes the mortuary and these funeral homes making money off of somebody's death. But here it is that group that killed that dude goes through and shoots up the guy's funeral. You ain't going to hear about that shit in the kingdom. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. There ain't going to be none of that among us. So how in the fuck can Esau get back in power and take us down after the kingdom of heaven is established? But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. All right, now going back to Job 20 and 20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. Why? Because the plans that he has for the future and all of these riches that he has are going to be transferred to us. Matter of fact, there's another one. Let me see if I can find this one. I believe it's either in Ecclesiastes chapter 5 or maybe chapter 8, but I'm not sure exactly. Prophet of the earth, shall be served by the field. Right here. Ecclesiastes 5:13. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. You're gonna be hurting. You know, you got everything by wrong, and you're holding it, and it's gonna turn against you. That's how you're gonna be judged for all of the evil and wicked shit that you've done on the earth, this unjust gain that you gain on the planet, and you're gonna have to give all of that back. So just imagine, here it is, you're super rich, you have no want for anything, and all of a sudden, you know, someone comes in and says, look, you got all this by wrong, you're gonna have to give it all back, and losing all of that. And then people looking at you like a real piece of shit that you are. They that narrowly look upon thee. Is this the man? Can you imagine the mindset and the depression that would jump on that man, and just the total humiliation? Just like, you know, the group Milli Vanilli, when they were found out that they were lip syncing, that dude, the one that was born in Germany, Rob, I think his name was, he was so distraught because he was so used to living that life, but it was a life of lies, and he eventually had to kill himself because he just couldn't handle it. Man, that's gonna be something. So let's read this again. There, Ecclesiastes 5:13. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. Right, to their hurt. Where were we at? We read that one. That we're out of it. We finished with this. We're finished with that. That was earlier. So pretty much these 15-minute cities are set up pretty much to cut everybody off. You know, oh, let's go back to Job 20. Job 20. Yeah, because we didn't get to the main point yet. 21. There shall none of his meat be left. Right. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. Yeah, because right now everybody's looking for this devil's goods. The whole world is wandering after the beast. They're coming to this place to still, even to this very day, 2023, almost 2024, they're coming to America to seek better living. That's why a lot of these immigrants or migrants that came to this country, you know, when they got here, not too long ago, when the borders were open to them, some of them are going back home. So we're catching hell at home, but goddamn, we're catching hell here. It's cold. We living on the streets. At least back there we got a little hut. We got food to eat. Right? It says in the fullness of his sufficiency, which is what? When he is at the peak, at noonday. I mean, the highest point, sufficiency. The word there is sapak, sapak, hand clapping, mocking, mockery, scorn, meaning dubious, satiety. Right, which is, you know, when they have everything. The scripture, don't the scripture say that they have everything their heart could wish? This feeling of or state of being sated. I hate when they do that shit. You're gonna define the word with the fucking word. You goddamn devils. Right. Satisfy a desire or an appetite to the full. They're satiated, not emaciated. So in the fullness of their sufficiency, when they have everything their heart could wish, which they already have, but when they get to the desired point of their agenda, right? He shall be what? In straits, in positions of difficulty. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And this is why it's important to understand your words in the Hebrew or the Greek. Because this sounds like, you know, civil war. This sounds like Esau coming against Esau, but that's not what this is talking about. When you go to the word wicked, you have the word there, aimal, in the Hebrew, which goes into laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman. So the workmen, the ones that are toiling, they're going to come against him. Why? Because this devil has oppressed them. Let's go to Jeremiah, I think that's 22, and let's see, right, 13. Once again, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. Come on, man. How many times must we check these fools? Salaka, I had to throw that one in there. Salaka, excuse my corny jokes. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. Right, how many times how many times does the scripture have to tell you that this is talking about the so-called white man, Esau, especially the international banking families? You know, can't you see the signs, man? Salakia. Hey, that's a that's a that's a lesson for brother. Can't you see the signs? It says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. How many times? How many times does the scriptures have to tell you who this is speaking about, man? Can't you see the signs, brother? It says, and his chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service without wages, see, and giveth him not for his work. So that's why eventually all these nations and all these people that are working for this devil here in America and abroad are going to come up against this devil. Matter of fact, let's look up the word services. And this goes hand in hand with that case law. Like I said, I can't remember services I bought, which is servant. There's an actual case law where it distinguishes the difference between, wages and income, and it tells you that they're two different things, and that one cannot be taxed, the other one could be taxed. Income is taxable, income tax, because it's capital that's invested, money that you gain off of capital invested. Wages is money that's given to someone for their services. That's not supposed to be taxed. And then the word wages is chanam, right? Chanam, yep, chanam. Freely, for nothing, without cause, see? Gratis, which is free in Spanish. I don't know why they put that in that language there, but hey. But gratuitously, yeah, like, damn, what video was that? Where that stupid bitch said, who the hell is something? And they took the gratuity, which is tips. They took it out, automatically. She said, "Who's that?" Stupid bitch. But they're supposed to be so goddamn smart. So gratuitously for nothing, for no purpose, in vain. So let's go back. Let's read that again. So it says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness and chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service or their work without wages, without nothing, for nothing, and giveth him not for his work. And that's what you've done. That's why eventually these nations and the working class is going to come against you. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And eventually, once the kingdom is established, boy, you're gonna get it, Esau. You're gonna get it. When he is about to fill his belly, meaning when he's about to sit back, kick back, relax. You know how you spend hours making a real savory, delicious meal. You got your grass-fed steak. I mean, brought up the right way, no hormones or none of that bullshit in it. And you let that thing slow cook for a long time. You smoke it. It's a shout out to the brothers out there in Dallas. And then you got everything that's just perfect. The peas and carrots or whatever vegetable you got on it, Brussels sprouts or okra or whatever. You got your sweet potatoes. You got that nice juicy steak. And then you got that good gravy made with good stuff, good ingredients, and you pour in the gravy over it, and the steak, you don't even have to cut it with a knife, because it just, when you put the fork in it, it just comes right off. And when you take your fill of that and you're about to shove it down your mouth, here comes somebody and snatches it from you. So that's how the Lord's coming to do that. Hey, that's why it says in Obadiah 1 and 6, 1 and 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? would they not have stolen till they had enough? Right. They would have stolen till they had enough. Okay, that's enough. Let's get the hell out of here. Right? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right. They would have left something. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All, where is it? Is that it? I knew this was part of it. But pretty much when Yahushua comes back, which is the thief, Yahushua shall come as a thief in the night, when he comes, he ain't going to leave nothing. Esau, your whole system is going to be taken out. There's not going to be any trace of you. The only trace of you that's going to be left on the earth is you for a certain period of time until you pay for your crimes. And it makes sense that it'll be 1,000 years, because after 1,000 years, the nations will get back their lands. They'll still be tributary to us, but you will be burnt up, eventually. So everything's going to be taken from you. So there's going to be nothing left of you. Let's see. Right. In the fullness of, back in Job 20:22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, meaning all the workers. When he is about to fill his belly, meaning enjoy the fruits of your, of your labor, the Most High, or the fruits of your theft, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Here it is, you got, some beef stuck in your teeth, and you just, how like you're eating and then it's like, oh, this is good, but then you don't get a chance to finish it and you're still hungry. You're still going to be hungry for your New World Order, because you're going to be salivating because you actually got it in place, but it's going to be snatched from right under you. And this is how it's going to happen, because the Lord says he's going to rain it upon you while you're eating, while you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. He shall flee from the iron weapon, which is what? The missiles. And the bow of steel shall strike him through. Same thing. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, which are the silos. Yea, the glittering sword, which are the missiles coming out of those silos, cometh out of his gall. Because when that thing comes out, it's in the earth. When the thing comes out, man, it's going to be horrific for the world. Let's see what the word gall is. Marara, which the word mar is like bitterness. Yep. Bitter thing, gall, poison, yeah, gallbladder, poison, venom. So you're gonna be in bitterness. You're gonna be like in horror. The people of the world are gonna be in horror. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. So this is gonna be a very terrible day, man. All darkness shall be hidden in secret places, meaning that your agenda, your New World Order, is going to be hid in those bunkers. That's going to be the end of you. You're not going to get your New World Order all the way out. You're only going to go so far. It says, a fire not blown shall consume him, which is the missiles, the lasers from the chariots. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Right, because anyone that's on the soils of America, even in bunkers, they're going to be destroyed. There's not going to be any inhabitant left here on the soils of America. Says the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And we see that happening, the heaven and the earth rising up against you, because you are a threat to the well-being of the earth. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. Right, because they're going to be translated from them to Yahushua, to us. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. Because you've been appointed. You have an appointment with slavery. You have an appointment with destruction. You have an appointment with losing everything that you stole. Utterance, speech, word, saying, promise, command. All right? So you've been appointed. It's been commissioned by the Most High that you will lose everything. And I want to leave you with this last precept in the book of Romans, the 9th chapter, and the 22nd verse. It says, and that he might make known the riches of, that's 23. Romans 9:22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And you're going to get every bit of what you deserve. You goddamn devils, you ease out there. And you other nations, but mainly you ease. All right, beginning with you goddamn devils. Because you're going to be the first ones, you so-called elite banking families of the world, and you other nations that are the top elite among yours, you're going to be the first slaves in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to be chained up from head to toe. So just get ready. Get ready for what's coming, because it's going to be vicious, you know. And you've been on a rampage, and guess what? Everything that you've done, you're going to pay for. The Elder Malcolm made a statement. You know, the chicken's coming home to roost, which is something that's a saying. The chicken coming home to roost just means just that. It means that you're going to pay now. You know, you reap what you sow, and you're going to reap what you sow. And you sowed a lot of evil on the earth, so we don't know how you're going to be able to deal with that reaping, you know, because you're going to pay for, you're going to swallow every bit of it down. Read Jeremiah 49th chapter. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.